Are you being unfairly evicted from your own property? Discover the shocking truth about property rights and how these landmark cases can protect your home. If you want to learn more about how these cases can help you become a more informed and law-abiding citizen, be sure to subscribe for updates on similar important legal topics. The cases covered in the deal with issues of jurisdiction, property rights, and the proper procedures to be followed in various types of real estate disputes. The first case examines whether an ejectment and damages action filed by the owner of a property against occupants should have been heard by the Municipal Trial Court in Cities, MTCC, or the Regional Trial Court, RTC. The second case explores the jurisdiction of the RTC, acting as an agrarian court, over a case involving the determination of a lease agreement and related claims. The third case discusses whether the RTC committed grave abuse of discretion in dismissing a complaint for lack of jurisdiction due to the assessed value of the property. Finally, the fourth case examines the validity of a complaint for the cancellation of a land title filed by one party while a re-vindicatory action involving the same parties and subject matter is pending.
Case 1, Estate of Soledad Manantan v. Aniceto Somera, GR number 145867, April 7, 2009. In this case, the owner of a parcel of land in Baguio City, Soledad Manantan, sought to recover portions of her property that were occupied by Aniceto Somera and Presentation Tavera. Manantan filed a complaint for ejectment and damages with the MTCC, which ruled in her favor. However, the Court of Appeals later reversed the lower court's decisions, citing a lack of jurisdiction as the complaint did not establish a case of forcible entry or unlawful detainer but rather involved a boundary dispute. The Supreme Court affirmed the decision of the Court of Appeals, holding that the MTCC did not have jurisdiction over the case. The court emphasized that the jurisdiction of a court and the nature of an action are determined by the allegations in the complaint, and in this case, the complaint outlined a boundary dispute, which is appropriate for a plenary action for recovery of possession or an acción publiciana, under the jurisdiction of the RTC. The key doctrines discussed in this case include: 1. Jurisdiction by allegation in complaint. The jurisdiction of a court and the nature of an action are determined by the allegations in the complaint. 2. Unlawful detainer. Unlawful detainer involves initial legal possession that becomes illegal, and such actions must be filed within 1 year from the date possession becomes unlawful. 3. Acción publiciana. This is the proper action for recovery of possession when dispossession has lasted more than 1 year, distinguishing it from summary actions for possession. These doctrines highlight the importance of aligning the factual allegations and legal claims with the appropriate judicial forum in property disputes.
Case 2, Corazon Jalbina de Leon v. Honorable Court of Appeals and Alderico Inayan, GR number 96107, June 19, 1995. In this case, Corazon Jalbina de Leon sought to recover possession of a parcel of irrigated riceland in Iloilo from Alderico Inayan, who had been leasing the land from Jalbina's father, Jesus Jalbina, since 1970. Inayan claimed he was a tenant with certificates of land transfer. While Jalbina de Leon argued the lease agreement had been terminated, the Supreme Court held that the case was not merely an unlawful detainer action but involved the determination of the nature of the lease and whether it had been terminated. The court ruled that the case fell under the jurisdiction of the RTC, as it was incapable of pecuniary estimation and involved contractual and property rights beyond mere possession. The key doctrines discussed in this case include: 1. Jurisdiction over subject matter. Jurisdiction is determined by the allegations in the complaint, and a case's nature defines which court has jurisdiction. 2. Estoppel and jurisdiction. A party may be estopped from challenging a court's jurisdiction if they have engaged in actions that suggest an acceptance of the court's authority. 3. Nature of lease agreements. Disputes over civil law leases, especially involving issues of contract termination and claims beyond mere possession, fall under the general jurisdiction of RTCs. As opposed to agricultural tenancy agreements, These doctrines emphasize the importance of correctly identifying the nature of a dispute and the appropriate court with jurisdiction, particularly when dealing with complex property and contractual rights.
Case 3, Carmen Dineo Milana, et al. Versus Benino Tuppa, et al., GR number 181303, September 17, 2009. In this case, the petitioners filed a complaint in the RDC of Tuguegarao City against the respondents, seeking re-vindication, quieting of title, and damages over a parcel of land. The RDC dismissed the complaint, citing lack of jurisdiction as the assessed property value was below 20,000 Cuban pesos, rendering the case under the jurisdiction of the Municipal Trial Court, MTC. The Supreme Court affirmed the RDC's decision, ruling that the RTC did not commit grave abuse of discretion. The court clarified that jurisdiction over such cases lies with the MTC when the assessed value of the property is below 20 Cuban pesos. 000 outside Metro Manila. The key doctrines discussed in this case include 1. Jurisdiction based on assessed value. Jurisdiction in real property cases is determined based on the assessed value of the property, with the MTC having jurisdiction if the value is less than 20,000 Cuban pesos outside Metro Manila. 2. Mandatory versus permissive jurisdiction. The Supreme Court discussed the difference between mandatory and permissive jurisdiction stipulations, emphasizing that the word may in legal texts suggests permissiveness. 3. Remedial action post-breach. If a breach, such as a refusal to vacate the property, has already occurred, declaratory relief is not appropriate, and the case should instead be approached as either an acción publiciana or an acción reivindicatoria. These doctrines clarify the procedural paths and jurisdictional thresholds applicable in cases involving property disputes, particularly emphasizing the jurisdictional roles of different court levels based on the property's assessed value.
Case 4, Spouses Juvie Marañón and Maria Luisa G. Marañón vs. Price Gases, Incorporated, GR number 196592, April 6, 2015. In this case, the Moranos filed a free patent application for a parcel of land, which was granted, and they were issued a title. Subsequently, they filed an ejectment complaint against Price Gases Incorporated, who had constructed a building on the land prior to the title grant. Meanwhile, Price Gases protested the free patent application and later sought to cancel the Moranos' title, asserting ownership over the same land. The Supreme Court found merit in the Moranos' petition, ruling that consolidating the reivindicatory action and the cancellation of title complaint was necessary to avoid conflicting decisions and ensure orderly justice. The court emphasized that addressing the validity of the title in two separate courts would be inefficient and potentially contradictory. The key doctrines discussed in this case include 1. Consolidation of cases. When two or more cases involving the same parties and questions of law or fact are pending, consolidation is appropriate to prevent the issuance of conflicting decisions and to promote efficient use of resources. 2. Direct attack on title. A torrent's title cannot be subject to a collateral attack but must be challenged through a direct proceeding specifically aimed at the title's validity. 3. Reivindicatory action. This is a comprehensive claim aiming to recover not just possession, but ownership of real property, necessitating a detailed examination of the legitimacy of the claimant's title.
If you found these landmark cases informative and want to learn more about similar important legal topics that can impact your daily life, be sure to subscribe to our channel for updates. Understanding your rights and the proper legal procedures can make you a more informed and law-abiding citizen, ultimately helping you avoid potential property disputes or navigate them effectively if they arise. Disclaimer: this video is educational purpose only. We do not guarantee the infallibility of the discussion in this video.